the beginning, it's hard to distinguish between positive, energetic person and madness. And I think, and I also perceive Wim Hof as somebody positive, that's always positive, happy, always smile. But yeah, when I've heard your materials, your content, yeah, I've changed my mind.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, and I can't diagnose somebody, but I will say, from my lay perspective, he is a little bit manic depressive, right? He has these highs and he has these lows, and when everyone loves manic people, if you see Robin Williams on a YouTube video, you're like, this guy's great. He's got so much energy and he's wacky and I love him. And then you miss the Robin Williams that eventually committed suicide because he was so depressed, right? We don't like the depressives. And what we present for Wim is all of the best side all of the time. It's like with anyone's Instagram, you don't show the bad side ever, right? Like I don't post, I'm so depressed today, my writing isn't going well. Like I don't do that. No one does that, right? Instead, you post the good stuff. And when Wim's good stuff, his goods are higher and his lows are lower than other people. I've seen him very, very angry in the past. I've seen him very, very depressed. And those are sides of his personality as well. And for him to say that his method cures depression and cures anxiety, well, it hasn't for him. So why would it cure it for everyone else? It's a tool that you might use that might help in some cases, but it's not a panacea.
That's a good point. So the idea came to my mind that maybe Wim Hof is being used by the whole organization. Have it flow through your mind?
Oh, of course. I mean, if you look at Einem Hof, who is the only owner of the Wim Hof method. So Wim, according to corporate records, has no ownership stake in the business of the Wim Hof method. The business has about $18 million in assets. That's about 17 million euro. He, according to all of the records that are filed, his son, Einem Hof, owns the trademark, owns the corporate assets, owns everything, and Wim owns nothing. That's very clear. Now, Wim will sometimes tell you, I have an agreement with Einem to share the assets. But as I understand the law in the Netherlands, you actually have to register that with the government, and it is not registered. So something is going on there. In addition, Einem Hof repeatedly says on podcasts and other places that he does not practice the method, and that he only got together with his father in 2008 after he saw that it could make a lot of money. So it's clear that there's a disconnect between the actual leadership and Wim Hof. On the other side, I don't think Wim Hof can run a business. Like, I don't think Wim has a business mind. So, he does need somebody in there managing his affairs. I just don't think the current leadership has proven that they have what it takes to do that in a responsible manner.
Can anybody see the conversation with this Adam?
Yeah, with Einem, Enaham. Yeah, it's linked to in my video. It was on the Yogi Show podcast that came out in 2000 and I want to say 2020. And it's like an hour-long conversation with Einem. There's another one that came out like only about 6 months ago, also with Einem, also very telling. And there's a link to it in my video.
Oh, because for me, it's quite shocking to understand that somebody is publicly admitting that he got connected with his father for money. It's shocking.
Yeah. But, if you think about it, Einem's mother committed suicide and he blamed Wim for her death. And then Wim abandoned him for 10 years. I mean, that is a messed up family dynamic. Like, that is crazy. Wim is one of the worst fathers in the world. And then after 10 years, Wim comes back to him. He's like super in debt. He's got $30,000 of divorce debt. And he says, Einem, can you help me? And Einem, who is Einem has like a business sense to him, so he could form a business. He says, sure. But Einem's personality is also like, not many people like Einem. Like if you go around to the world and you talk to people who've done business with Einem, most of them come back and say that he's quite mean, angry, and money grubbing. For instance, if you had known Wim for years, you know, you were childhood friends with him, Einem, and you say, hey, Wim, can we hang out? Einem will probably write to you, intercept the emails, and then say, you can hang out with my dad for 1 hour for 1,500 euro. Like that's the shit that he does. Like if you should try this. You should write to Inner Fire, and you should say, hey, I'd like to interview Wim for my podcast. And then see if they come back and say, well, Wim's normal hourly rate is $50,000, because that's usually what they do. And, you know, they will, you know, he intercedes and he kicks people out of Wim's life. He isolates Wim and then probably controls him in a number of ways. Not only owning his house, but also controlling any money that Wim makes.
That's absolutely crazy. And you know, in Poland, there's no talk about any of that at all, because you act in English media. You publish your videos in English, and in Polish there's zero information about it. So
well,
yeah,
you have to translate me into Polish. I know my book is in Polish, and I it's quite popular in Poland. And I think I have. Wait, let me see. Is this Polish?
Yeah, exactly. That's Polish.
Great. Yeah, there we are. There's the Polish version right there. But I need to update it because I need to include more recent information about what's going on in the business. And I'll probably release an update in the next year in America.
Okay. Will the name remain the same?
I would assume so. I mean, it's the weird place that I'm in is that I still love the method. I'm still part of that icy, breathy, you know, miracle working stuff. I just think it has become a cult. I think it has become too much about Wim's personality and not enough about the actual practices. And I think that honestly, what we need to do is get rid of the idea of Wim Hof method, and we need to call it the huffing and puffing and icy method, like something else. Because I think by calling it the Wim Hof method, you sort of say that everything that Wim Hof does is the method, right? And then you've embraced his personality and his madness at the core of what it's about. So it's so intertwined that he has actually additional liability because of this. He has additional responsibility to actually stick to the tenets that he wrote or that he promotes. And when he goes off script, people are like, oh, well, the Wim Hof method is what Wim Hof does.
I was even wondering once if Wim Hof is his actual name, because it's so good for marketing, right? Wim Hof, it's good for international, etc. For example, my name, it wouldn't make sense to create my name method.
Yeah, your name is hard on the international scale.
Yeah. So the question is, Wim Hof is his original name?
Yeah. His name's Wim Hof.
Okay.
Eric is his middle name. Wim Eric Hof.
Jeżeli dotarłeś do końca, to zostaw w komentarzu taką oto emotkę serca, a na pewno przypnę ci serduszko. Cieszę się, że rozmowa okazała się dla ciebie wartościowa. Nie zapomnij jeszcze o łapce w górę oraz o subskrypcji, ponieważ rozmów takich jak ta będzie więcej. A teraz czas na autopromocję. Część z was może nie wiedzieć, ale napisałem własną książkę. Jeżeli interesujesz się rozwojem osobistym lub jesteś na początku swojej drogi w tym temacie, to ta pozycja jest dla ciebie. Z pomocą Progressus Dux skrócisz sobie drogę o 100-kroć. Streściłem w niej kilka lat swojego rozwoju w 85 praktycznych rozdziałów wypełnionych konkretami. Darmowe fragmenty już dostępne na stronie internetowej przemekwojcicki.pl lub w linku w opisie. I nie jest to żadne zbieranie danych do newslettera, po prostu wchodzisz w linka i od razu masz całą treść. Nie zbieram żadnych maili, nic z tych rzeczy. Książka została wydana w edycji limitowanej do 100 egzemplarzy. Tak się składa, że robiąc ostatnio porządki, natknąłem się jeszcze na kilka z nich. Także na stronie przemekwojcicki.pl znajdziesz darmowe fragmenty, darmowe rozdziały. Znajdziesz również możliwość zakupienia tej książki właśnie w edycji limitowanej, zostało kilka egzemplarzy, oraz w e-booku. Na tejże stronie znajdziesz również transkrypcję podcastów. Więc jeżeli myślisz o zakupie tej książki, to lepiej się śpiesz, ponieważ ilość egzemplarzy jest mocno ograniczona. Miłej lektury i do następnego. Hej!